The reason we looked at testing for BVD was we had animals which were not performing. We had the vet out, we were in the process of beginning a drench trial for one of the drench companies, and I presented these 3 animals which were very poor. They weren't responding to anything we did to them. So they took some blood tests and all 3 came back as being positive with BVD, and that was the first indication that we actually had the disease on the property. Yeah, the health of a small proportion of our cattle had not been good over a number of years. We were losing the odd cow, middle-aged cow, every year or two, and we're getting the odd young one which just did not perform. We'd had 2 other minor problems, slight deformities, 1-2 calves, and areas like that, just things were not, and generally the herd was not performing with too many dries through scanning. And we had these different things, and once we had the BVD diagnosed over the next few years, we worked out that a lot of those other problems we had probably related to the BVD. I don't think it was picked up earlier because I think even the general knowledge wasn't out there of the disease, or that was my experience anyway. I think there's been a great learning curve from everyone in the last few years, 5-10 years, of the BVD side of things. The feeling we had, I guess, was we didn't know what was wrong with some of these animals. It didn't matter how you treated them, how you drenched them, antibiotics, anything, nothing seemed to be working. Once we'd had the test done and they diagnosed what it was, and we were explained the procedures we could go through from there, we found we could actually do something about the problem. We could, it's not so much a treatment, it was a preventative procedure we went through. So I mean, at that stage we actually knew we could actually do something about it, and we've actually, probably with a number of years we have been vaccinating, we've virtually eliminated it from the property. Now it's just a case of keeping it away. As far as the BVD getting onto the property, really we don't know. Basically, in the 50 plus years my parents have been on the property, the only cattle coming on have been breeding bulls. We really have not had anything in the way of grazers on or anything like that. So how it's come on, really, I don't know. With BVD being common, the indication we're getting is that it probably is very widespread, but is not always showing up. I mean, some of these things will be on a lot of properties, but unless the conditions are right, they won't actually present themselves, whether it's through abortions, cows not getting back in calf, just the cattle fading away. Yeah, and unless the conditions are actually right, it's just not going to occur. It has different methods of presenting itself, whether it's straight out abortions, poor conception rates of the heifers or cows getting in calf, the cattle just doing poorly in the sense of where they become just, they lose condition, they scour, they actually fade away and they eventually die. We've had different results from being into the vaccination program now where we think actual growth rates are better. The young cattle, to me, probably 50 to 100 kilos heavier going to the bull as a yearling. The actual conception rates, we were 30 to 35% of the heifers not getting in calf. Now we can be as low as 2%. So there's a huge reduction there in the dry rates in the heifers, and the cows going back to the bull again, especially the young cows, there's a lot fewer empty cows in those. It made a huge difference in how we've been able to proceed with our cow herd. For a number of years now I've been tagging my calves as they're born, which has allowed us to follow through the performance of the cows, and with having a huge number more getting in calf has allowed us at our culling time after weaning to select our cows on their performance, whether it's low weaning weights or other traits, and instead of having just cull out the odd lame and old cow, we can actually now improve the performance of our herd by actually culling the poorer performers. As far as getting the positive results from the blood tests on the 3 animals we had, I think I had heard of BVD. I really didn't know what it was or what it meant. Once we had diagnosed, our vet went through with us a program on his computer, which he displayed where we would proceed from there, or could proceed from there. And yeah, that was very informative. And it was been a learning curve virtually the whole way through. It's a relief to actually know that the problem was diagnosed and we could actually do something about it. I mean, before then we just didn't know what it was and what to do. Once it was diagnosed, as far as planning, we immediately started a blood testing program with our heifers going into the herd each year. So they were blood tested and vaccinated. In the first year we also, just to get a bit of an extra step on it, we tested the 2-year-old cattle as well, which they gave us sort of approaching half our herd going in the next season we're going to be tested. So it's and from there we've just had a continual testing and vaccinating of the heifers each year, and ensuring that the bulls we buy for our breeding have been tested and vaccinated. The plan going forward is to continue that process. Apart from the original 3 which were diagnosed with BVD, we've had no other positive tests, but I think at this stage anyway it'll be just a continuation of the same program. Bovillus is the vaccination which we have used since we've started. It has been very effective. We've had no indication that it hasn't been performing and doing what we want. So we've had no positive tests at all. Been a number of calves now born from cows that have been vaccinated, and they've all proved negative, and there's been no indication of any other cattle which we've kept which haven't been tested, the steers, which have not been performing. As far as our experience from the day that we first found out what it was, it's helped us, our production I think has increased. It's explained 1-2 problems we'd had beforehand, whether that was low conception rates, we'd had 1-2 deformed calves which we thought might have been a hereditary thing, which generally these now seem to be probably a BVD related incidents, and it's all just simply moving forward. It's all positive, and certainly it's nice not to have those odd cows fading away which you really just can't do anything with. When you get animals which fade away and you just can't help them, it's very disappointing. I mean, it doesn't matter how much feed you push into them, drenches, animal health products, nothing was working. And now that we've got into the vaccination, it's just not there, so it's a lot better, it's a lot nicer feeling to know that you can actually help your animals.